Good afternoon. I'm Corporal Jordan and I will be conducting a class today over how to determine a grid azimuth using a protractor. Alright, so the overall risk assessment here at 1 Delta 10 Tango is low. We are in an inside environment. I've already done a pre-inspection and checked to make sure any hazards that were around have been removed. Human error does happen, so still be on the lookout for tripping hazards or anything of that sort. If there are any type of liquids or beverages that you guys do have, go ahead and please make sure you got a cap on them, put them under your seat, but ensure it's not going to be somewhere that you can kick it over. Now, to my right, your left, we do have a latrine, and also to my right and your left, slightly forward, we have a water point. Now, if at any point in time anybody feels as though they need to go ahead and top off on water, please do it quietly, not to disturb or interrupt anybody else. Also, in case of a fire, to my left, your right, we will all conjoin outside in the parking lot to get accountability. In the case of an active shooter or any type of inclement weather, we have security stages set up for that, such as the cellar, as well as outside near the law enforcement agency across the street. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to go over the task conditions and standards. The task for today is to determine a grid azimuth using a protractor. The conditions are set in a classroom environment with the materials that I have provided for you, such as a pencil, a protractor, a map, and a blank piece of paper. The standards: identify a start point and end point. Draw a line from said start point and end point. Align your protractor properly, and view and determine the angle of your azimuth. Now, during this block of instruction, you will receive proper training on how to properly determine a grid azimuth using a protractor. Now, this is going to be done in 4 easy steps. Now, typically, I would go ahead and I would give you 2 sets of coordinates, and I would have you plot point A and plot point B and continue our mission from there. But considering that we are in a round-robin environment right now and we have multiple classes going on, we're going to go ahead and use point A and point B that Specialist Madonna had you guys plot earlier. Now, once you have located point A and located point B, you will then draw a line from point A to point B and determine the value of your azimuth. Now, when you do this, you have to go from point A to point B whenever you're evaluating and determining your azimuth. Because if you do not, and you go from point B to point A, at that point in time, you'll be sending yourself and your fellow troops in the wrong direction. Also, I need to point out that whenever we are evaluating our azimuth, we're going to use the inside set of numbers because those are going to be in degrees. The outside numbers are going to be in mils. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to properly draw your line and determine your azimuth with my protractor. All right, now, at this time, I'm going to explain how I did this. So, I located point A and located point B. I took the straight edge portion of my protractor and I aligned it going from point A to point B. I then drew my line going outside and far enough past point B to where I can still see my line on the outside of my protractor. If you don't go all the way past, you won't be able to see your line. Now, to determine the value of your azimuth, the centermost point on your protractor, there should be a little hole in there. Take that little hole, the very centermost portion of your protractor, and put it right on top of point A. Now when you do this, ensure that the outsides of your protractor are parallel with the horizontal lines and the vertical lines on your map. Now that line that you drew, you're going to follow from point A to point B to the outside of your line, and where that line crosses, in this instance, it's going to be at 55 degrees. Now, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to practice and kind of get used to using your protractor and things of that such. So, while you guys are going over this and doing your practice, I'm going to walk around, make myself available to you. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. Your 15 minutes for your practice exercise starts now. Your 15 minutes is up. Not too many questions. I feel like everybody understood the concept fairly well. Now, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have you guys take your evaluation sheets, and I'm going to evaluate you. You're going to have 15 minutes to do such. Now, don't be worried. If for some reason any one of you fails, you will be allotted the opportunity for a retrain. Now, once the retraining has been done, you will then in turn be reevaluated. Keep in mind, you must be marked with a T in order to pass this class. Once again, don't worry, you can get retrained if you do not meet the standard, and you will be reevaluated. Your evaluation starts now, 15 minutes. All right, your 15 minutes is up. Why don't you go ahead and pass all of your papers forward and to the right, my left, and I will pick them up. All right, now that they have all been stacked over here, I'm going to go ahead and do the assessment. Once again, you have to be marked with a T for trained to standard, and if not, you will be retrained and reevaluated. At this time, I have evaluated all of your assessments. Everyone here has been marked with a T for trained. Everybody is a go at this station. I'm going to go ahead and record the results and then send them up to my hires. That way they know that you guys have been properly trained to standard and you get a go at this station. All right, so at this point we're going to go ahead and jump into an AAR. So, once again, we're going to go over what was the commander's intent. The commander's intent was for us to determine a grid azimuth using a protractor. What did we do? We located point A, located point B, drew our line from point A to point B, and aligned our protractor properly in order to determine the value of our azimuth. Now, does anybody have any improves for my training? Does anybody have any sustains for the training? Does anybody at all have any questions? No questions? Awesome. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and need everybody to pass all the maps, protractors, pens, anything that you did not bring with you into my class, and bring them up front for me. Also, push in any chairs that were around you, plus your own. All right. All the information, or all the tools and equipment have been accounted for. At this time, you guys are free to go. Sergeant Matthews is going to be giving a class down the hall. You guys can go ahead and proceed to my right, your left, and go ahead and receive your next block of instruction. At this time, I'm going to sanitize my workstation.